So I was talking with a church on the phone just last week, and we were talking about, church communications, and they said to me, Elevation Church has a really cool app. We're thinking about building an app for our church. And it struck me because I immediately told them, no, do not build an app. And it kind of reminded me of this basketball player that I used to watch growing up. I grew up in Toronto, and so I would go to the Toronto Raptors games with my dad when I was a kid. We would go, and I was like 10 or 11 years old, and one of the players on the Raptors at the time was a guy named Del Curry. And Del Curry had this son, and no one knew him at the time, but he would stand, 5, 10 feet back behind the NBA three-point line as a 10, 11, 12, 13-year-old, and he was just jacking up these three-pointers from close to half court. And like more than half the time they went in. And that player would grow up and become the two-time MVP in this league, even though he's really short, kind of scrawny. He's not a typical basketball player at all. He's become one of the best players in the league and really the greatest shooter of all time, Steph Curry. And what is happening now is that you see these kids, you go to a high school basketball game and you'll see these kids just jacking up shots from way behind the three-point line because they want to be like Steph Curry. They want to play the same way he plays. The problem with this is that they're trying to do the exact same thing that Steph Curry does now without the tens of thousands of hours of practice and the tens of thousands of shots that Steph put up. He's been putting up those shots since he was a kid, shooting around at the Air Canada Centre in Toronto. You can't look at what someone's final destination is and think, if we do the same thing, we'll be able to get there as well. Elevation Church and Stephen Furtick, they have millions of downloads of those sermons. That's why the app is so important for them. But you can't just replicate what they're doing and expect it to work the same for you. What you need to do is look at the values and the culture of a church that you look up to and replicate those. Don't just take their strategies and their kind of final destinations, implement those in your church and expect them to work in the same way. Not only will they not work in the same way, likely be a disaster, but you're also going to waste time and resources doing it. So replicate the culture and the values of churches you look up to, not their strategies.